DualShocker Nation or Gang or whatever we're going for. What's going on? Peter on Szpytek here, back with Cristian Macias, bringing you some gameplay of Another Crab's Treasure. This game, by the time you're watching this, is, I believe, out on the 25th of April. This is developed by Aggro Crab, and it is an ocean-based, crab-based Souls-like game. So I've played a little bit of it already. We've got two save files here, so you can sort of see Cristian. But I got to a spot that I think is a decent explanation of like what this game is all about, because it's got kind of a not like prolonged tutorial, but it takes a second. Are you familiar with this game at all?
Peter, I've been eyeing this game for quite a while. The official moniker is the crustacean-themed Souls-like. I gotta say, in terms of aesthetics, this one super inspiring and exciting to me.
Yeah, I had known about this game because of it was in an Iron Pineapple video.
Yeah,
and
I'm familiar. Yeah, Souls-like YouTube content creator, correct?
Yeah, he's great. And I was like, okay, yeah, this looks like fun. And then in playing it, I have been pleasantly surprised by it. So it's pretty funny. Basically, the idea is you play as this crab, what is it called? They're like crabs that live in the little homes.
Is that on all crabs, Peter?
I guess I don't know. Hermit crab. That's
there you go.
Like I'm thinking of specifically.
We got there.
But you play as this crab named Krill, and he gets evicted from his shell, and he basically needs to come up with he doesn't know how to do taxes basically, and he gets like his home gets repoed basically, and he's like, I'll get the tax money, I just gotta figure out how to get it. It's funny.
I love the contemporary criticisms of our own society. None of us know how to do taxes, Peter.
It's deep. I don't. What am I doing here? But it's pretty cute. It's pretty funny as well. There is a fair amount of ocean-based humor that I can certainly appreciate as a Shark Week fanatic. But basically, we're at the beginning of this tutorial for Umami, which is basically like a special move that every one of your shells can have. So basically, the hook of this game is that you play as this crab, and that you pick up different shells in order to use them as like shields and stuff. But each of them has their own abilities. You can see this one has a sort of like projectile attack. But what's cool about it is that basically the shells break pretty fast. Different shells are going to have like different durability levels, really. And so you're constantly sort of switching in between. In between them. Let's see here.
Can I ask two things as you kind of platform around?
You can ask me anything, Cristian.
So I just put out a Stellar Blade video, and one of my big critiques there was on responsiveness with terms of movement mechanics. How does this game feel in terms of movement? Because it looks pretty flashy and honestly pretty responsive just as I'm watching.
It's interesting. I'm not the expert in this field by any means, right? I am a Souls fan. Yeah, you get like a cool grappling hook. I'm a Souls fan, but I would not say that I'm any sort of expert. Let's get into some of this combat here. Basically, the combat is just a little bit different than... I just blew myself off the edge here. The combat's a little bit different from those sorts of things, in that there's a big emphasis on dodging and using your shield as a sort of commodity, because it has its own health bar. If you look in the bottom left, there's a blue health bar and a red health bar. The red is my health, and then the blue is the health of the shield. So basically, every single time you get hit, like take a look at this, with the shield, that shield loses a little bit of health. I just did exactly what I did before right now.
Okay, and while you're platforming up, yeah, since shields are more commodity, are they pretty ubiquitous so far from what you played? Like, are you finding a lot of them around the world?
Oh, they're everywhere. You can sort of see there's one flashing down there. That's a bottle cap. There's a lot of like humor surrounding like pollution and stuff like that. Where like all of the there we go. See, like so all of the shields and stuff for the most part are like trash and things like that. So we're gonna grab this bottle cap. You can sort of see each one has different stats, but then they also have different umami abilities. So this one is fizzle, which basically, like I said, shoots out a bunch of bubbles. You saw me doing it before. This one is pop off, where I do like an uppercut slash. But in terms of responsiveness, the combat is so far for me, kind of a mixed bag.
Okay.
It's not bad by any stretch, but it is juggling a lot. And also, there is like kind of a delay between actually hitting the attack button and then the attack going off. Now, that's intentional. It's to make sure that everything has that sort of weight. But it is just a little bit slow, which makes it a little bit challenging. I'm also going to do my best here to talk and do this at the same time. Because this combat is,
you got him, dude.
Kind of challenging. There we go.
Easy. What are you talking about? All day.
There we go.
I'm not sure how I feel about this crab on crab
violence.
I know.
There's a reason for it narratively. I'm not entirely sure what the resolution to it is yet. But by the way, there's like these cool like shortcuts basically that you can unlock in the levels.
Oh, dude, yeah. Classic Souls-like shortcuts.
Yes, 100%. But the crabs that you're like fighting have something wrong with them, essentially. It's kind of unclear what that is at this point, but you run into a crab and you're like, hey, what's going on? And it's like eyes are like all gray and like dead looking. And so like there's something there about like what's going on. I think it has to do with pollution and whatever. As you can see, like, you know, we're sort of weaving in and out of like broken bottles and like obviously like all of the shells and stuff are like trash and whatever else.
I got to say, Peter, as someone who studied ecology in dystopia, in dystopias during my graduate time, I like the eco-criticism setup of this game already. Narratively, this is doing a lot for me.
And it's not doing it in a way like I think there's definitely room for this and stuff, but like it's not doing it in a way that like feels really like hopeless and bad. Like obviously like
that was the umami. Sorry to interrupt. That was the umami.
Yep, that's the umami blast, and that recharges as you deal damage and stuff. I'm getting kind of cooked here. Sorry, had to lock in for just a second here. Oh my gosh, and I'm still. There we go.
Yeah. A little difficult to try and speak and perform some Souls combat, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. This one, the thing about this umami attack is like it sort of blasts you backwards.
There's that cigarette butt.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. I just picked up a bread claw, which is like the thing that you wrap your bread, like that holds the bread closed.
Is that what they're officially called, by the way? Like, I'm not even joking. Are they called bread claws?
I learned that yesterday.
Okay. Well, I learned it today.
So here's another example of what I mean with the different shells. This is a shot glass, but you can sort of see on the right side of these icons, like the soda can has 50 health, like 50 HP. The shot glass has 10. So basically, like if you get hit while you are wearing this, it is going to explode. Like it's gonna break and be not usable anymore, and you're gonna be kind of like dazed when your shell explodes. But it has a really good umami attack, if that sort of makes sense.
Peter, so we both had Lies of P takes in terms of like inspiration versus its own kind of design philosophy. Are you enjoying this as like its own thing?
When you say that, I guess what are you referring to? Like, am I enjoying this as its thing outside of the Dark Souls comparison, or?
Correct. I'm speaking in terms of like having the shield and the umami moves. That's very much feels like more of an Aggro Crab ism to the Souls-like language as opposed to anything From Software currently does. Are you enjoying it on that front? Like, are you able to meet the game on its terms?
Yeah, I think there are certain aspects of this game that I really like that, and this is sort of the case with a lot of Souls-like games that I've experienced where like when I play them, I go like, oh man, this would be like a cool mechanic to include in a Dark Souls game or whatever they're going to work on next, because I know Dark Souls is kind of done for them. But with this one, if you try and heal and you get hit while you're healing, basically you hold this, your health item above your head. Here, I'll do it real quick because I need to heal. If you get hit while you're holding that, you will drop that on the ground. And so it's kind of cool because it means that you get like this, the lock-on feature is a little rougher on the edges. Sometimes you end up locking on guys that are far away. It means that you get, you have to be really, really, really careful about when you are healing. Otherwise, you will not only get healed, but then you're going to drop your limited healing item on the ground. So that's something that I really like about it. Other than that, like the Dark Souls comparison, I think is pretty apt, and I guess I can't speak entirely to whether or not like it works in the long run because I've only played it for about 2 hours at this point. I don't think I can make that jump. In fact,
The
I tried this
chancla.
last night and I can't. What's that?
The chancla.
Oh, that's the little flip flop guy.
Yeah.
See, I know things. I know culture.
Yeah.
I'm a well traveled guy.
I gotta say, well, I like this move a lot. This platforming in this game looks pretty sick.
Yeah, it is. I almost messed that up. We're fine. The platforming feels kind of reminiscent of like Jack and Daxter. Do you know what I mean? Like this sort of like PS2 era level design where it's like a lot of floating obstacles and like stuff like that. That's not a like criticism necessarily, you know, like I like that sort of stuff. But it doesn't feel, it feels a little like a throwback. It's not out of date. It's not outdated. You know what I mean? It's not bad by any means. But it does, you can sort of see its inspiration there, you know, while also having all sorts of modern inspiration through like the Dark Souls stuff.
Well, I think also in terms of, you know, gaming zeitgeist, you know, there's a lot of us, me included, that sort of kind of champion games with, you know, worse graphics, quote unquote, but are kind of throwbacks to the gaming of the golden age. We kind of look back on pretty fondly, and this seems like a nice middle ground where we have modern philosophy of gaming, a la Souls-like, but also this platforming of PS2 era. That's pretty neat.
It works. Oh geez.
Yeah, he looks tough.
Yeah, we're gonna get to a boss fight here in a second, but this guy's not the boss. He's just kind of a gatekeeper. And
lock in, bro.
We're dead. Couldn't lock in. So the souls that you collect in this game are microplastics.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So basically, I died, right, and I come back to this big moon shell here, and so I don't have a shell right now, so I got to grab one. Grab this can of whatever. Something that I've sort of had a difficult time with in this game is like the run backs. There are shortcuts and stuff like that, but like I'm gonna have to fight every single one of those enemies again, I think. Otherwise, like I'm gonna be really, really vulnerable for getting hit because you're kind of slow in this game. Like this is your max speed, and it only happens when you are holding down the circle button. I'm playing this on PS5, by the way. So like I'm gonna have to kind of deal with all of these enemies again, which is just a little irritating when it comes to like replaying sections because I died, you know.
That's Souls, baby.
Yeah,
that's Souls.
It is. It does mean though that like by the time you end up getting where you're going and like winning, you end up having, you know, just a big repository of souls and whatnot, or rather microplastics. There's also a system in this game for like staggering enemies. You can sort of see underneath their health bars, they have this like yellow bar that like lights up as we fight. Essentially, like once that fills up, you can stagger them and get a few extra hits in. It's not a system that I've engaged with a ton yet, but I think that's just because I've been fighting more basic enemies. There is a lot of complexity to this, I will say, and like a lot of that complexity comes in the form of the I'm gonna skip some of those guys up here. In the form of those shells. There's also a skill tree that you unlock as you go. We've not gotten to that where this particular moment is in the story. Once we beat the boss, hopefully we beat the boss. That unlocks, but there is like a significant amount of complexity to this, and I know that like this game like looks kind of silly just because it's kind of a comedy game, you know, but it's pretty difficult and not just hard to be hard. It's complex, you know.
Right. It's the intentional difficulty, or you have to engage with all the mechanics that it's going for, which I think is pretty apt and honestly kind of exciting.
Yeah, and let
Can
me
I
show
say?
you. Yeah, what's that?
Oh, please.
I was gonna say, let me show you the menu here. So basically, you have these adaptations. I have not unlocked any of these yet. In my time with the game, or at where we are right now. So I don't know what they do, but I imagine they alter something. And then you have stowaways, which are basically like barnacles and stuff like that you can equip, and they basically function like rings or like armor in like a Dark Souls. I hate to compare it, but like that's what the genre is. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, you know, you have 3 slots essentially, and different stowaways will require different amounts of those slots. So I have a few that are take up 2 slots, and I have a few that are only 1. So I could like equip both of these 2, but then there'd be a slot open. And I think that having this one gives me +3 to my vitality stat. This one gives me +2 to my resistance stat. So you can do that. This obviously tells me about my the shell I'm currently wearing. There's like different outfits. I don't know what these do.
That's interesting.
Different stats and stuff. You also have like an inventory of just like random stuff that you pick up. You know what I mean? Eventually, I think you enter like shops and stuff where you can sell this sort of stuff for microplastics and whatever. There's a skill tree. Like I said, we haven't unlocked it yet. That's the options. And then there's a map, but I can't really like move the map at all. It's honestly not super helpful other than just knowing like generally where things are. But we're gonna.
I did notice there was different weights for the shields you were picking up. Is there a weight class in terms of like, you know, like a Souls game, the heavier you are, the slower you move and dodge? Same thing here?
I think so, but I honestly have had a hard time figuring out what exactly those do.
Right.
Because, you know, I do know, you know, obviously exactly what you're talking about. Like that is such a thing in Souls games, but I'm not sure like specifically what it does in this game. There might have been a tutorial on that, but I also very well could have missed it. Come on now. Come on.
So you got to lock in.
Don't embarrass me like this. Do not embarrass me like this. Oh, he just fell off a ledge. That's perfect.
See, that's the Souls gameplay that I'm familiar with.
Oh yeah, hard boss.
Luring them to the edge. Yeah.
You can also see. I just picked up. So your healing item. It's like a type of like sea grass or sea grape or whatever. They resupply when you are killed. You know what I mean, or when you rest up. Like the moon shells or whatever they're called. They're current shells. But also you can find them out in the world in case you are running low. I got a birthday hat on right now. It's actually
happy birthday, Krill.
Thank you. It's a pretty solid shell. I will say too, we're gonna see if I die. The boss encounter's up here. It is not always super brutal in terms of respawning. So like there is no moon shell up here for you to rest at. But if you die, like so, like you know, logic would have it that if you die, you'd go all the way back to where we were. But if you die in like fights with bosses, you typically respawn like right next to the arena.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Yeah, which is appreciated. It's inconsistent, you know what I mean? So that's not ideal.
Sure.
But so it goes. Something else I want to point out too is there's like a lot of like parody and comedy in this game. Like the premise itself is silly about like being evicted because of tax reasons and stuff. But also like there are like satirical brands. So it's a Pabst Blue Ribbon, but it's like physical based rendering or something like that is what the actual like logo is. There's like a lot of like parody brand garbage that's just sitting at the bottom of the ocean, which is it's pretty funny.
Thank you for stopping by the PBR can. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Let's see all right, here. This guy is no joke.
PPP.
All right. As you can sort of see, like if I get hit twice by this guy, I'm kind of toast. So
I'm enjoying the music for this boss fight. It's pretty neat.
Oh gosh. So same with many Souls likes. There are all sorts of different like unblockable attacks that come out that they can sort of pull off. Okay, he's gonna do 3. 1, 2, 3. I studied this last night, and then the overhead one, and then we're gonna need a big attack. There is
iframes.
Yeah, there are iframes.
Cool.
Also, we're just gonna check this out. Take that. Okay, that didn't do a ton. This Umami ability interrupts enemies and also deals damage. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But like, yes, there are iframes, but also like your shield does not block everything. Let's see here. The big slam, big attack.
Seems like there's no stamina you have to juggle either.
No, there are like you can only use your Umami attacks so many times in a row.
Great
but
dodge.
Also, thank you very much. I cannot believe okay, maybe I'm speaking too soon. No, I cannot believe that I just jinxed myself like that. Wow.
Right at the end. One or two good hits away.
I can't believe this. Yeah, so okay. Let's try that again. I studied this last night. I did the IGN guides for what was that game? Star
Junk
Wars
recovery.
Jedi Survivor.
Sure.
And I had to, because I was like, well, I don't want to kind of mess up with these boss fights. So I would like try the boss fight over and over again until like I like really learned all their patterns and stuff. So it's basically what I did last night with this guy. Single hit, I'm dead. That sucks.
Single hit right
Yep.
there. That one hit.
Yep. So this game is like, it is punishing. And even though it's like silly looking and like has like a level of sort of like humor and stuff to it, like this is a challenging video game. And I think that's worth just thinking about because like, I love games that have sort of this more goofy tone to them, but I feel like when games are like more comedic, they tend to be a little bit less like, I don't want to say like hardcore. I think that's the wrong way to look at it.
But it is unapologetically still a video game, which I think is a good thing. And it's what you want this game to kind of be.
Yes, because I also think like, like a comedy like Souls game, there's a place for that. 2, 3, shoot, and then there we go.
There's that overhead. Now I'm learning.
Yeah, see, you went to
The school
polluted platoon
yeah.
Pathfinder with me last night. So you have a light attack and a heavy attack. The heavy attack needs a charge up. They're sort of mapped to the same button of just like holding it down. They can be a little sort of challenging to do in sequence because you need to like fully commit to letting the attack. There we go.
Great.
Thank you.
I was a
Thank
bit
you very
nervous
much.
there for a second.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Here comes the overhead. Boom. There it is.
Get his speeder.
Oh, big sweep attack. Wasn't anticipating that. But yeah, like you actually do have to do the work of like studying these bosses. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Got him in 3.
Yeah, I'll take that. I will take that as a win for talking about this and doing it on camera. Come on now.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so there are this is not pulling any punches when it comes to like the difficulty of Souls games and stuff like that. It's a lot less obtuse than those games, which I feel like is part of the is certainly a part of the difficulty in them. You know what I mean? Like in not knowing like what does, dexterity do for a first time player, like they might have a difficult time with that. However, this game is a lot more straightforward with stats and whatnot, but it is still like, this is still a Souls game where you are going to struggle against, boss fights and whatnot. This is a tutorial for learning the skill tree. It's basically like you the first thing that you get at the skill tree is fast travel. So once you've got that, you're free to explore to all the different places that you've been. So I'll show you one of the more open-ended areas that's not quite as linear as this one. Let's learn some skills here. Just pick up some of these. Yeah,
again, I gotta reiterate, the aesthetic of this game, I like it.
Yeah,
they are leaning heavy into everything oceanic.
100%.
Still charming though, in a way. I like this.
Yeah, I think it's very charming. And
oh, there we go. Parry.
Yeah, I got
now
parry.
We're talking.
We're basically
now we're
like,
cooking.
So what's up with these shields is like you can hold down the block button and you go inside the shield. Obviously, if it takes enough damage, it'll be destroyed, and then you get sort of stunned. So it's in your best interest to swap out your shield before it's time before it explodes. But if you do a parry, which is basically like you hide in your shield, and then as soon as the attack comes in, you let go of it and you like pop out. Your shield won't take any damage, or your shell rather won't take any damage, and you will build up the stagger meter on your enemies.
That is different. Popping out instead of popping in.
Yes.
That is a different approach to parrying I don't think I've ever done before.
It is. Let's upgrade some of these things. Yeah, so you're spending microplastics. It's very funny to acquire new levels and stuff. And then shelloportation is what it's called, which I really enjoy.
Incredible.
Yeah, but this game flexes different muscles than like Dark Souls or Elden Ring or even like Sekiro or anything like that. Just because the actual timing of stuff is a little bit different in terms of, like the parrying is different. The mechanics are different enough to be kind of like, I had a hard time picking this up when I was playing it originally last night because it is just so different. Let's get this guy. There we go. So this is like the first open area you end up going to, where like as you can see, like that first area was like super linear. You know what I mean? Like go here, do this with a handful of sort of diverting paths. Whereas this is pretty much just like, I don't know, what do you see? Go to it. You know what I mean? There is this trail of microplastics that's kind of like the main paths to go to the different spots, but like there's stuff all over for you to sort of find and explore and whatnot. I didn't spend a ton of time like exploring these areas just because I was just trying to find some of the more main path stuff, but from what I can tell, if there are other open like areas like this, I think it's pretty neat.
This is a lot more of a meaty experience than I was anticipating, but I do like that. I like games that kind of open up a little bit for kind of more open environment areas and then kind of funnel you towards the main path stuff when it's time to do that. I think that's a really great balance of gameplay in that regard.
100%. Where it's just like, I mean, we've talked about this even with like, not just keep talking about Dark Souls, but like there's a parry right there. Like
great.
You know, you are, at least in my memory, you are a bigger fan of like the level design in like Dark Souls 1 versus like Dark Souls 3.
Yes.
But I prefer that more like straightforward level design of Dark Souls 3. That's just my preference, right? This game I think has a solid mix of both, at least from, you know, the early hours that I've sort of experienced. It's cute. I don't know. Like I actually was not really expecting much with this thing, but it has a layer of depth to it that I was not anticipating, and then also it has like a charm that it also sort of like caught me off guard because it's funny. Like you know, I think a lot of games try to be funny to varying success. I think this game is pretty funny, and not just in a knee slappy way.
And that's a great balance that I think Aggro Crab kind of, and not to use the in a bottle metaphor here, but yeah, like lightning in a bottle is a good way to put it. Like, you are being pulled in, like you come for the aesthetics and the charm, but you stay for the intense action and methodical gameplay.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I mean, like you can see, like each of these guys very well could kill me, you know, in the same way that is the case with, you know, FromSoft games, or even like, you know, we both really like Lies of P. Like that is a game where like even the most basic enemies will kind of rock your clock. Sorry, I just had to lock in there. Which means that, like, you know, I'm not walking through this, I'm not breezing through this, and I was having some genuine difficulty when I first got started. Let's see here. You'll appreciate this. Here's an example of the humor here. Why did the crab cross the road?
Why? We find out? Oh, nice.
He is a tax fugitive.
Wow. Incredible. Like, there's more of these.
Yeah. When did the combat music start playing? When you see an enemy. Come on now.
That's great. No, that one's good. I like that one.
It's pretty good. Let's see here. And like you are following this more straightforward story as well, as you sort of are trying to get the money to pay for your taxes. Because you got evicted from your home. You can also sort of see, like, I'll show you this.
Peter,
yeah.
I can't help but think about something that is just occurring to me, and you please feel sorry for me if you need to.
Yeah.
But the way crabs work is once they're done with their shell and they've outgrown it, they throw it away. It becomes trash. So one crab's trash.
It's another crab's treasure. Yeah, because they
wow. Here we are.
They'll pick up another shell. You know what I mean? Or they'll find one that another crab has used and whatever.
Aggro Crab, I see you.
Yeah, but you can see like cigarette butts are everywhere. Like there's just trash everywhere. Like I think that they're like, I haven't gotten to obviously like the main meat of this game, I don't think yet. But in terms of like, I imagine that there is, other than just the aesthetic of this, some sort of deeper environmental messaging. Obviously, of just like showcasing like this stuff is sort of a message in itself, but it's I'm sure there is something else to this. You can also sort of see like in case you were worried about like, you know, I've been picking up a lot of just like empty cans and like bottle caps and stuff like that. There are a lot of different shells that you can find. I mean, like there's 69 of them. Yeah, pretty great there. This is the one that you get evicted from. Doesn't have an ability, but also like I imagine this is just like what we're trying to get back. Although it does have kind of a high defense compared to the rest of these. But yeah, so I've only found really 4 of them because this one you have by default of 69 of these things. So like there is a lot of variance to this sort of thing. And even like I was sort of worried like, okay, this one is that I've got is yellow, this can is green. Are these going to be totally different? Are these going to count as different cans? Nope, they're both the same sort of can.
Sure.
So yeah, there you go. That is another Crab's Treasure. I'm trying to think if I've missed anything here. I don't think so. Other than just like you're not going to be able to sort of spam your way through this because these enemies they'll delay their attacks like you know, big enemies do in Dark Souls games and whatever else. Like this is not necessarily a game for the faint-hearted, despite what it kind of looks like.
Again, in terms of Souls-like games,
Yeah.
I gotta hand it to Aggro Crab for making something that's so visually inspired. This is just neat to look at.
Yeah, it is fun to see like a new sort of take on this. Like, you know, like I said, you and I both really liked Lies of P. And
Yeah.
like that game is doing its own thing, but also like if you look at a screenshot of that game and you look at like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, like I think you could, or rather Bloodborne really, I think you could be like, there's no reason. That was a great parry.
That was fantastic.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
When did this game become Sekiro? I think you can absolutely see the inspiration there. Whereas this one, I mean, it is different enough to have something that's sort of completely different, you know, in terms of visually, while still making good on like the combat ideas that I really like from Soft.
The music changed, and so did the visuals slightly.
It did.
A bit scary. Yeah,
I haven't been over
okay.
here yet. I mean, you know what? Let's go on a little adventure here. This is back towards where the castle was. We were basically like the queen who is taken over and evicted us from our place. Told us to go get her something shiny from the depths of some place. And her place is all destroyed. This is a boss for sure, right? I mean, let's see what he's got to say. There was an uprising.
That sword.
Oh,
here we go.
let's take this.
No name, no health bar.
Nope.
Just a very strong enemy. The Wary Guard.
Let's do this. But I also like, though, it's cute. Like, look at his, you know, his sword is a straw with a cap on it. Like, there's another enemy that is similar to this. The first main boss that you fight has a sort of a similar thing going on.
Your shell's badly damaged.
It certainly is. We can take one more hit probably. Okay, or perhaps not. Heal up real quick, and then I'll show you a different shell that we got. Something kind of cool about this as well is that when you get in a new shell, that counts as like a dodge. So like if you time
awesome.
it right, yeah. Okay, I see how that one works. So that's a banana peel that I use as a shell, and its umami ability is you can eat it. I did not realize that was going to completely destroy the shell, but here we go. Here,
I think the Weary Guard's in the bag.
yeah. Let's do this up. Come on now. There we go. Take him down.
Nice.
So
Those microplastics.
I imagine that there is some sort of, I mean, you know, obviously there's some sort of story here. It's silly, it's fun. I'm having a good time with this. It seems like the people who are reviewing this, I don't think anyone reviewed it at DualShockers, but the reviews for this are coming in pretty positively and outlining some of the stuff that you're seeing here. So there you go. That is another Crab's Treasure. We will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.